Hello again, Jessica here. Welcome back to my Transgender Nation. We are on episode 9 of telling my story, and we have more to talk about before I actually move forward again. I got to fill in some more blanks with you guys. It was brought to my attention that I really haven't talked to you at all about the reaction I got from family and friends as I started this transition. I think I briefly mentioned about like people at work, but that's about all I talked about. So this is a big piece of the puzzle, so definitely got to spend some time about this one. All right, so the first one who knew was more by accident than anything else. My daughter. I had been, as I had told you, been working with my therapist, and I was dressing up more and more and more as we got closer and closer to when I was going to go full time. And I lived in a big house that used to be, filled with a family, and it was down to just me, my daughter, and our dog. 2,700 square foot house. So it was a lot of room. And my daughter wasn't home much at all. So I really had, for the most part, free reign to be in the house by myself. And I usually had a fairly good feel for when she was going to show up. Not always, but... And one day I had gone to New York City to visit the voice coach. And as part of that visit, I made an appointment and went to the Mac store in Manhattan. And this particular Mac store had, it wasn't really just a store. It was basically a place that you could go and work with their people and get a makeover and learn, how to do your makeup and what makeup to use, and you buy some makeup from them. So when I went down, as I said, I'm not full-time at this point. So when I went down, I brought a wig with me and did my session with the voice coach, and then went and visited the Mac store and told them my story, and they're like, "Great, we'll help you." So they said, "Well, put on your wig." So we put on the wig and adjusted my hair. And then they did this just amazing job of a makeover. And when they got done, I felt like $1 million. And I'm like, okay, now what do? I got to take a train ride home. And they go, well, leave the makeup on, leave your wig on, and go home and enjoy it. And oh my God, I think I was so scared to death to do this. But I did it. I did it. So I got home, and I'm like prancing around the house. I'm looking at myself in every mirror I could find, and I'm just, look at this makeup. Look how good it looks. And I got all dressed up in some great clothes and stuff. So then I'm relaxing in the living room. Got the TV on and checking some emails and things. All of a sudden I realized my daughter is coming up the basement stairs from the garage at full speed. And she opens up the door to the kitchen. And when she opens that door, she can peer around the corner and see me sitting in my chair in the living room. And I take the wig off so she can't see that. But I got makeup on my face. But I'm far enough away. I don't think she quite caught what was going on. But I've got female clothes on and everything. So I fly up out of my chair and I go running to the front of the house to go up the stairs, because she lived on the first floor and I lived on the second. And she's not sure what she just saw or what the hell is going on, but she knows something ain't quite right. And she goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Oh, nothing. I'll be right back." So I run upstairs, take off the makeup, put on some normal clothes, come back down and talk to her like, "Oh, hi." Like nothing had happened. It was quite hysterical. So this happened again, a second time. Finally, she ended up confronting me, and I told her what the story was. So she ended up being the first person who found out. Again, as I said, it was really by accident. So that's how my coming out started. So after telling, or my daughter finding out really, the next person I figured probably the best person to talk to would be my ex-wife, and tell her what's going on, and then tell my other daughter. And I figured I better talk to my ex-wife before I talked to my other daughter, because I knew my other daughter wasn't going to handle it anything like how the younger one did, because she was really good about it, actually. Very good about it. She, to this day, she is probably my biggest advocate, so, which is fabulous. So, I had a conversation with my ex-wife, which was interesting because her first thoughts were she thought that I was going to have my business fail as soon as I transitioned, because nobody was going to want to do business with me. And I was kind of taken back by that, because I didn't think that was going to be the case. And it's turned out that it's not the case. My business is doing very well to this day. But she had concerns about that, and wanted to know how I was going to talk to my other daughter about it and things like that. So we went through that. So beyond that, I told my older daughter after I spoke to my ex-wife, and that kind of went as expected. She was not. It didn't go great at first, and over time she came around and was a lot better these days with it. I wouldn't say that she's 100% with it, but she does as good as she can with it, and I understand. I mean, it's got to be really hard for a daughter to have her father tell her that he's a woman now. I just can't imagine from her position what that feels like. But she does as good as she can with it, and I greatly appreciate she making an effort in that regard. So then after that, I told I have two sisters. One is 2 years younger than me, and one is 4 years younger with me. And I told the one who is 4 years younger than me first. And she was just as supportive as you could possibly imagine about it. She was great, and is to this day. We get along really, really well. And that was just so wonderful to hear, and have in my corner, have somebody willing to be there for me and not judging. So that, in addition to my younger daughter. So that was really, really cool. And then my other sister, she did well with it, but I don't know, kind of similar to my elder daughter, just, doesn't quite understand it, and willing to be supportive, but it's just not the same. So I told the two of them. So then I have quite an array of family. I got a bunch of cousins and stuff. So I have this one side of my family. It was my mother's side, and there's my uncle's kids. There are 5 brothers. And when we grew up, their backyard basically touched my backyard. So they were like brothers to me growing up. I was very, very close to them. And they have been pretty much my entire life. So this was going to be quite the shock to them, because they're all men, like manly men. And so there's one who is about 5 years younger than me, that in general vicinity thereof. And I told him first. I actually stopped by his house, and he was lying in bed watching TV. I got him out of bed, and he came down. We ended up drinking a bottle of tequila as I told him this story. And I think what he said more than anything repeatedly that night was, "Oh my God." But he seemed to be pretty good with it, at least that night. And then eventually, he ended up sort of sharing it with the rest of his brothers and whatnot. And, I see them on a maybe on holidays these days. But all of them are okay with it. And I guess I would leave it there. I don't have the relationship I had with them when I was younger. I miss it. But so that's one side of how, telling family has gone. There's been some other cousins I told, and they were pretty good with it, and some other ones not so good with it. And then there's friends. And boy, what a mix I've had with friends. I mean, it's just amazing. It's been all over the place. I've got one friend, I've known him since I was probably 12 years old. And he's a male chauvinist if there ever was one. But gosh, has he been in my corner since day one. It's amazing. And then I have another friend. I was probably been friends with him since I was about 12, somewhere in that general vicinity. And, you know, he was just so uncomfortable with it when I told him. And to this day, I mean, I see him now and again, and he tries to, you know, he tries to be supportive, but you can just see just the way he interacts with me that he's just very uncomfortable with it. So those are a couple examples. And I've got, you know, every end of the spectrum with friends. Some that are great, some that are somewhere in the middle, and some that just won't even communicate with me anymore. So it's quite interesting how different people can be with something like this. So I think that's my fill-in story for family and friends today. And this has been a long one. I'm sorry it's longer than usual, but that was the story I don't think you want to chop up. When we go next, I had told you that I had scheduled the voice surgery and what I was having done. I think I'll pick up right about there because that was like the next thing that happened after going full time and changing my name and stuff. So we'll get into that and move forward from there. I greatly appreciate you listening. I would love feedback. If there's things you want to hear that pieces to this that you'd like me to see me fill in, let me know. This is on YouTube. You can also find it on Spotify as a podcast or on Facebook at My Transgender Nation. I appreciate your time, and you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.